Hello, and I guess you saw all of that. We're having audio issues, so I hope you can hear us.
And what's the show?
Aha, human amongst humans.
How are we doing in being as a human? How do we feel about being a human among humans?
It depends on the other humans.
Depends on them, not us.
Well, of course it depends on us as well.
How are we?
You asked me about my opinions about the
Yeah,
humans.
I think it's getting better at this advanced stage. I was arguing with someone about Palestine and Israel, and we were. He was adamant that the Israelis, beginning with the Zionists in 1948, way before you were born, were doing ethnic cleansing. And I was saying, well, it's really, both sides weren't very good. The Arabs the Arab countries, when Israel was declared independent, Egypt, Syria, Iraq, and at least those in Jordan, all wanted to kick the Jews into the sea. So it was but we were able to have an argument and end it peacefully. Because I'm learning well, he's not going to change. He's angry. And with my friend. So it was very nice to have the debate and end it, and even have it all the time. We took turns. We tried not to interrupt each other. And he said goodbye and said he's going to the demonstration for the Palestinians at Harvard University. I was a little afraid for him getting hurt because the Palestinians just killed over 100. I don't even know the number. And the Israelis are bombing Gaza and killing way over 100. What do you think, John?
I think war is a disease. I was thinking the other day, I was just walking to that guided meditation or something, and I was just thinking, you hurt someone else, you hurt yourself. You hurt yourself, you hurt someone else. We're all connected. There's just no reason to start killing other people just because you believe something different than someone else.
Well, they both want the land, though. It's not just beliefs. The Palestinians say, we lived here for hundreds and hundreds of years. And the Jews are saying, we lived here before you. And we were getting killed everywhere. And the Holocaust killed 6 million of us. We need a safe homeland. And the Palestinians said, just because you're jumping out of a burning building, you don't have to do it on our head. So what do you think?
I mean, why can't you share the land? The past is the past, but if we're able to, improve as a species in the universe, if we're ever going to evolve as human beings, you just sort of let that past go and just, get along something.
Create some kind of, like they did in South Africa.
What did they do?
The blacks were equally oppressed by the white settlers. It was a black country. And then the Dutch came and the British. And eventually they tried nonviolent. It didn't seem to change anything, and then Nelson Mandela said, well, if nonviolence isn't helping, we've tried it for 50 years, I'm going to get guns from the new African nations. and bring it into South Africa. He was called the Black Pimpernel, because I think the Scarlet Pimpernel was a very adventurous at fighting. And they did not like that, you know, arming the blacks. And they put him away in jail for 27 years.
27 years in jail.
Yep.
That's harsh.
And then they realized, the white people in power, they were afraid it's going to be a brutal bloodbath, and the blacks just would overwhelm the whites. And they negotiated with Mandela secretly, because they didn't think he'd get the agreement of other black leaders. And they created a new constitution where all blacks could vote. I think it still left the whites who were in power economically to stay. And that, with all its difficulties, created a government that's still alive today. So I hope that the same thing happened in Israel and Palestine. When I lived there 50 years ago.
Really?
Almost to the week. It was Yom Kippur 50 years ago. And when this happened, it was the holiday of Sukkot, which is the harvest festival. And you sit in these huts, and there's the top of the huts don't have a total roof because you can see the sky coming through the slats, because the rabbis say they want us to recognize that we're all fragile creatures, and we really need to be reminded there's slats in our roof and we might get wounded by the sky.
Get wounded by the sky. Can't be afraid of the rain.
No, but it could be other things. So, after I was living there when the Egyptians and the Syrians attacked Israel in the surprise attack. It's called the Yom Kippur War, the Day of Atonement. And they would have killed me. But the United States sent a lot of weapons to Israel, and they were able to beat back the Syrians and the Egyptians. And then they made peace. It took 7 years. Israel and Egypt made peace. Israel gave Egypt the Sinai Peninsula, a big, big desert. And Egypt recognized Israel, right to exist. And that peace has lasted with all the, the difficulties in the Middle East. And so that's my hope, that, I think it's what you were saying, that out of this murder on both sides, that eventually they'll realize, as you were saying, war's a disease, peace with some kind of with justice is way better. I don't know what it would look like, but they might just get tired murdering each other.
Yeah, I don't know, it's everywhere, I think it's just, war is just another element of evil, and, our country might not necessarily be at war to that extent, but we're, there's other levels of disagreement, and we can't recognize another opinion, with respect, and we're always trying to say that the other person is wrong no matter what,
Yes.
It's never going to get anywhere. It's just going to cause more of that
Yes.
evil vibration, that evil vibe.
So maybe that we'll stop murdering, stop calling each other murderers, even if we both are, and say, let's see if we can find a better way to stop this murder. Very simple.
Yeah.
No, we don't want to blame anybody. We can blame ourselves, and both can do that. Maybe they have a joint, what we call truth commissions in South Africa. Okay, I'm a murderer. You could say, okay, I am too.
Okay, I am too.
Maybe we could stop, as you were suggesting, find a way to stop murdering. Because much as it might be exciting,
It's kind of cold and sick. People get excited about kills.
yeah, that people might do that, but we're going to get beyond that.
I guess that's why prison is made.
Say that again?
I guess that's why prison was made. When you have people who want to go out and kill just for killing's sake, or enjoy murder, enjoy hurting somebody. That's why we created prison.
But as you said, when it's countries that are doing this,
Oh yeah, totally.
then they don't.
Back to reality of what we're talking about. I don't know how to stop war.
Say that one more time, please.
I don't know how to stop war. I don't know how to stop Palestine and Israel killing each other, or just some random land dispute.
Well, it's a place to live. You know? The Palestinians feel this is our country. We were living here hundreds of years. It was known as the Ottoman Empire, which was the Turks were in control of it. And it was a big empire. But after World War I, it collapsed. It was just an old empire, like the English Empire has collapsed. And the Arabs were living in Palestine, and they said, oh, we want our own country, just like the Egyptians wanted, the Turks wanted their own country, the Iraqis, and so on. But the problem in Palestine, when they wanted their own country, was the Jews had been, 6 million had been killed in Europe. And they had once lived there in biblical times. And they said, we want to go back to our home. And so people have been murdering each other ever since because they both want this to be their home.
There's one thing I was thinking about probably a few months ago is just the danger of overcommitment to dedication to one thing so hard that nothing else matters, and no matter what kind of advice people might give you, you definitely, I think it's very honorable to be able to, go after your goal no matter what. You have setbacks, you overcome your obstacles and stuff like that. But once you get it into the mindset of everything that even to decimals is stopping me must be destroyed, then you're getting crazy.
Yeah.
It's just you went a bit too far with that. Even though you wanted to be so 100% dedicated to your goal, there are other things in life that might come up. You're gonna have to interrupt those and step back for a second, fall to that.
And it's hard to step back. I mean, if people killed you, I'd be angry. Yes, I'd be angry. And that anger would be really angry. And I would not be open to talking about it. If the murderer was here, I'd want to strangle him in my hands. I hopefully would have friends who would say, hey, that's not going to help anyone. Although it's hard, because if that murderer was going around murdering other people, it's very tempting to kill him. It's especially when I'm, you know, there's no words beyond furious that it's not you can't even give words when that happens. You just are so wanting to take, to just kill, and kill. So maybe they'll get tired. Maybe they'll get tired, as they've been doing it for. They've been doing this really since around 1945, right after the Holocaust ended, and maybe even before. So that's almost my whole lifetime. I was born in 41. Oh my. I mean, it's interesting to talk about this with my mind, and then to feel it. I lived there for 3 years, and almost got killed. I mean, not. I mean, the Egyptians and the Syrians invaded Israel and wanted to kill us. Palestinians bought, we were told at least, Palestinians bought knives that were living there. What's remarkable, you probably don't know this, 20% of Israel proper is Palestinian. And vote. They were in the government a few years ago, maybe even 1 year ago. So that part is beautiful. I mean, they might be second-class citizens, but they're probably living better lives than Arabs are living in Egypt and Syria, certainly Syria. And Egypt has had its troubles. Well, I think I'm just going to adopt your position.
Okay.
Is, come on, let's not blame one another, even though we're both wrong. We're both wrong. It's two wrongs. Let's have two wrongs make a right, or we're both right.
Yeah.
Let's have two rights make a right. And we can look at the history, and it's pretty awful.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think, what separates us from nature, you got creatures that kill one another for survival, and they're instinctually made that they must do that to survive. But we are on a level where we can choose to do that or not, and when you turn into an animal and just go after somebody, that I feel like that takes away from being a human being.
And this show is a human among humans, not an animal among animals.
No.
Although I learned in Israel you could take that animal energy. There's a mantra that has helped save my life. Serve God with the evil impulse. And so to take that anger, or you would know some of it, or fear, or anxiety, and that's energy. And to use it well to do some of the things you are doing.
It makes me think of, it's Einstein, isn't it? Matter isn't created or destroyed or something?
Yes.
It's just changed into a different energy or something?
Yeah, energy is matter. Matter times the square of the speed of light, which is a huge number, makes energy. That's how they make the atom and hydrogen bombs. They destroy little bits of uranium, but when they destroy it, this immense energy comes out. And that might kill us also. One astronomer, Carl Sagan, said all planets have this challenge when they discover, to be like we are. we discovered E equals MC squared, and discover how to, it's even AI. We can either use our powers well and go out into the cosmos. We're now out into the, we've been on the moon, and we can send spaceships to Mars and have, I believe. But either we learn to live peacefully or we destroy ourselves. And that's a fair bargain, right?
Yeah.
We're not worthy of getting out into the cosmos.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
So, and
We're not safe for the other
no.
living planets.
So it's a very nice, it's an interesting deal. And I like it. I mean, we might not be worthy of going out.
I think the best thing that I can think of now to be able to counteract that is just the power of belief and faith in the good powers around us and that we're connected to. And also, like what you said, when you get that negative energy, when you get that, that feeling of anger, you kind of interact with that energy and change it, turn it into a different type.
Or fuel it like steam. I'll use that energy to make a railroad.
Yeah.
and an engine and a railroad train. That's not easy to do. When I get angry, I just got angry at a friend of mine for what could I say? I won't say it. I got angry, livid. And when I feel that, I have to lie down. I went to bed with it. I woke up in the morning with it. And eventually, I could tell my friend, what you did, I'm so angry at what you did. It's not that you did anything wrong. I didn't want to blame you. And I'm very angry at it. Would you be willing? And I asked him what I wanted, and he said, sure. So that, and then the anger left. But when it's there, it is, and this is just over something little, let alone if you're, Israelis and you're killed. I don't know how many, do you know? I think over 1,000. Or if you're Arab and you're bombed and you've been living in this open air concentration camp. Oh my, to get to the place where you could talk about it. And maybe they just, alas, have to get tired of killing each other. Woof. Wow.
Well,
So do we pray? Is that silly?
no, I don't think prayer is silly. I'm not sure if I know if it was listened to or not, but I do have a belief that it is heard in some way, to something, and that the more positive, healing, regenerative energy that you give, the more will be out there in the world.
Oh, good. Well, I remember I woke up this morning just angry. No, blah, really, not angry. Blah.
Blah.
Blah, blah, blah. No inner light, no desire to do anything.
Yeah, I had to kind of lazy day too.
Yes, well, this was, but I don't mind lazy where I'm happy. Happy, lazy. It's an old Spanish proverb, John.
Yeah.
How beautiful it is to do nothing and rest afterwards. But this was not beautiful at all. This was like slog. And I tried to accept it, because I'm trying to be a good Buddhist, and whatever feeling I have, to accept it, love it. And I couldn't. I didn't like it. I didn't like blah. And I tried the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept what I cannot change. And that didn't help either. What did help a little bit was God helped me accept. Yeah, I didn't, but at least I had something to say. Help me accept what I find right now unacceptable. I do not like blah. I like life. And it helped at least to pray, have something to say. Help me accept what I cannot accept. And I helped a tiny bit. It didn't change things. What changes things was going for a walk with them, a mile walk with a friend, talking about it. That didn't change either. And then arguing with a friend about what we were talking about, Israel and Palestine. And he was right, and I was right, and we respected each other. We tried not to interrupt, and when we did, we respected what the other, and that helped. That helped. Just, I had a friend of mine in Israel who said, I don't want to argue, I want to harangue. And so we screamed and we felt better.
Wow, so use of maybe the quote unquote negative energies of anger, expressing that energy out of you, did that help you get rid of block?
Yes, the law, I got so invigorated by the debate. And it was, I had learned finally, I didn't say you're out of your mind, which I could feel. I didn't blame them at all. I just spoke about, I wanted what happened between Israel and Egypt or South Africa to happen. And it, even though my friend was just outraged at what the Israelis are doing, bombing Palestinians, probably in hospitals, and killing hundreds, if not more, and getting all the people out of, leaving their homes, and then watching their homes be bombed. Oh my God. Wow. And people just blaming the Palestinians and not the Israelis. Oh my. So I was able to talk about it and helped. I wasn't blah after.
Just a quick question. Are you Buddhist?
I need all the help I can get.
Okay.
So I meditate in the morning, often just lying in my sleeping bag for about sometimes 3 hours.
Wow.
And I'll hear a word. Sometimes after 3 hours I'll hear one word, like annihilate. They'll say, oh, I need to annihilate my ego and open up. And then I feel better. So that's my Buddhist meditation, which happens.
That's funny. I was just thinking, you said the word annihilate. What, through my journey of music, when I was around 16, I got into death metal. Really angry stuff. And I'm not an angry person. And I won't say death metal is necessarily angry, but it's almost like letting out that negative or that aggressive energy in a cathartic way for me.
Yes.
And the first record I ever heard that was death metal, legitimate death metal, was Annihilation of the Wicked.
Wow.
By a band called Nile.
His name is Nile, my Lord.
And it's still one of my favorite records ever. And definitely very important in my musical journey. But, I listen to that and I don't get angry, and I can get, super motivated listening to it, like jump around theatrically and play music and, just get rid of all that energy, or at least not get rid of it, because we were just saying, Einstein, but, just express all of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're not just.
Express all of that.
So we don't take it out against ourselves either.
Yeah, no, so it just goes out there, and then I feel great.
Oh, wow. Same thing.
Yeah.
Yours is more healthy than mine, but same thing. Well, on that note, since we've solved the Israel-Palestinian problem by saying, okay, it's, at least in my mind, 2 wrongs. 2 wrongs can make a right.
Okay.
And 2 rights, because everyone's right too. 2 rights can make a right.
All right.
Let's make a peace like was made between Egypt and Israel last time I lived there. Let's make a lasting, or South Africa has done that. Ireland has done that. They had Catholics hating Protestants, Protestants hating Catholics. They made a peace that's lasting. You know, they're not killing each other anymore. Not sending off terrorist bombs. Not correctly saying your murderers and your murder. That's not going to, it's true, not going to get us anywhere. Let's make peace, a just peace. Well, on that note, we have part 2 of this show. Stories of the Spirit, Stories of the Heart. John, who is going to be a famous actor,
Of course.
is going to, as dramatically as possible, sum up where we are so far.
Okay, let me try and find the place where we left off. We were talking about this woman had a dream of a Native American coming to her and teaching her a rain dance.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa!
So she's kind of all this.
Yes, talking about energy. Get
rain
that
dancing
energy out.
Yeah, she's got that rain dancing energy.
Yes.
So, and she, and most of the story is about her sort of thinking of such a gift that was given to her. She doesn't want to feel guilty about abusing it, you know, or causing the rain, you know.
But what happened?
And then her and her significant other went on a trip.
What about the rain before then?
Oh, did
You remember?
she cause the rain?
She did the dance and it started flooding in
Oh.
California.
The winter floods of Topanga and Los Angeles.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So she thought maybe she'd abuse that gift.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And then there's this passage about, you know, those who do have the power to cause the rain were given that for a reason. They don't abuse the power.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's hard not to.
Yes.
I've abused both powers.
Really?
Yep.
Alright, do you want to give a story of that?
Well, I've had 22 girlfriends.
Nice.
And it finally dawned on me, brilliant that I am, that maybe they didn't last, not because they were wrong and bad, but I might have had something to do with it.
Oh,
Finally. So I decided I am never going to leave a woman again. She could leave me, but I will not. The one that I've been intimate with. I ran out of my chips of leaving them. If they leave me, that's fine. Right? You have to be careful not to do stuff to inspire them.
let the ladies know.
Yes.
Free man here, he will not leave you.
Well, I
That's right.
discovered that with roommates too. I had trouble with a roommate had visited me, and I found it very difficult to be close to people. It brought up all kinds of things from my childhood. I'm not defending it or even blaming me now. That's just a fact. And I decided I am not going to kick out any roommates anymore. I've been living with a wonderful roommate for over 6 years now.
That's awesome. Any more?
And so even if I feel it, I try not to do that.
Okay.
Not always successfully, but at least that's my goal. So I've abused many other powers. I mean, we won't go, this is not the show about that, but that's just an example.
So they went to see this this Canyon de Chelly in Arizona, and they were the lady who tells the story and her significant other were driving there on some difficult roads, and it started pouring with rain, and they got guidance. Well, sort of they helped a Native American go to their home. They said, "You will get where you need to go."
That's the mother said that, looking right in her eyes.
Yes.
You will get. This we can try with people.
Yeah.
You will get where you're planning on going. Wow, that one shit freaked him out.
Yeah. And then so they're in the car, and then it just started pouring down with rain, and this car was sliding around. And she decided to get out, and they would drive a little. She would get out, they would walk, and then all of a sudden, they came around the bend, and there was no rain there at all. The rain had stopped. The place hadn't been rained on. And so I'm not exactly sure what paragraph we're on. I think I might have it.
Oh, good.
This
And
is-
remember, one of her goals was to be connected to the landscape.
Definitely.
And she didn't. She thought it was ugly and dusty, not like, our beautiful parks and forests. But she was, and when she got to this canyon, she saw how utterly beautiful it was, which is very important to learn how to feel part of the landscape we're in. Even in Cambridge, there's landscape. It's a city landscape, parks and rivers and sun and air and trees. And she learned to love, or is learning to love the landscape. She has the same problem in her relationship. She's going out with a homeless man.
Is she?
A homeless man. I don't know if you know that yet.
No, I think.
And she has to see if she can learn to love this man the way she's learning to love the landscape. Because people come in packages, and we might not always like the package. But can we unwrap the wrapping and see the beauty that's in people? Certainly in this homeless man, she wanted to see the beauty. Is it hard for a professional writer to love a homeless man? I'd have trouble with that. Oh my Lord. Well, I've learned to love someone who is homeless deeply. Took them in. She lived with me for many years as friends. And beautiful person, beyond beauty, beyond my belief. Okay, so let's pick it up.
Sure. She actually says something about the Israelites.
Oh, tell me.
I stood on the edge. She's talking about the canyon in Arizona.
Yeah.
I stood on the edge thinking that the Israelites must have felt this when they first came on the promised land.
Yes.
This was the sacred vision of paradise.
Oh my. And many of the Jews came to Israel because we used to live there. And she's referring to that.
It was raining in the distance, and we could see black streaks against the sky. Where the sun was setting, the rain fell before it in a curtain of gold.
Wow. I think I can begin to feel this. I don't know if you can.
See it.
Yes. Oh my. I'm overwhelmed by it. Wow.
You need a moment?
No, keep going. I love it.
I thought, this is how so many sacred texts describe the appearance of God. A shower of gold light.
Whoa.
Isn't that true? Sometimes we were driving to Plymouth the other day, my coworker and I, and it was just a drive, but just when you see the clouds in that kind of way, that they seem just so epic and divine. Mountains themselves. I was thinking, that cloud seems to be carved like the mountains we were talking about in the book.
Very nice.
I was filled with awe. Then to the east, where the black fell against the darkening sky, wild explosions of lightning appeared, each stroke blasting the earth. This is another face of God.
Wow. Read that again, because I can hear it, but I want to
Sure.
physically feel it.
Sure. Then, to the east, where the black fell against the darkening sky, wild explosions of lightning appeared, each stroke blasting the earth. This is another face of God.
Whoa, and a tough face, right?
That's pretty intense.
And you we are blessed that you're still watching us. Please experience this. We don't want you to just couch potato this show. We want you to physically feel in your body what we're talking about. If I could use the word we, at least I.
No, I agree.
Oh, good.
Then, as if this were not enough, there emerged a brilliant rainbow to the south, and beside it a gleaming, burning eye of platinum fire.
Gee. Wow.
It's descriptive. Then came the magenta, the rose, and the wild colors of night. Every face of the sky god appeared in all its glory, as if he were saying, "Look at me. Why have you raged against me these last years?"
No, because she was probably against this biblical male god.
Oh, yeah.
The sky god. No!
The sky god. That's kind of cool. Gods for different elements.
Yes, and Zeus was the god of lightning,
Yeah.
as well as Yahweh in the Hebrew Bible.
I must never doubt again. I looked at the face of the sky god, pressed against the glorious body of the earth mother goddess, and I knew there are gods, and I thought I must never doubt again.
Wow! What do you think, John?
I think she had a profound experience of witnessing, the immense power of nature and what it is like that when you're there. Sky gods, earth goddess. It makes me think sometimes. You've got water and earth, which are essential for life, and you've got the wind, which sort of causes things to move and circulate, and then you've got fire. And I feel like going back to that thought about humans sort of more evolved than animals. We've found how to use this fire. And now fire, quote unquote, runs our entire civilization. We control that. So that's some sort of gift too.
And what do you think of calling it God, or gods, God and Goddess? And she's trying to see the beauty of the earth, right? This is a challenge for her. It's maybe easier to feel that now, at this moment, the beauty of the sky and the power of it. And one, what do you make of that? And two, what do you make, I'm not going to doubt anymore?
Well, I feel there are those moments in our life where we get those profound, what seems to be messages from greater powers. And sometimes we decide to remember them forever. We do, but sometimes we might forget. It's been so long since a profound experience happened to me, or whoever it is. And so, even though it might be overwhelming or even scary to experience it, it gives you this profound feeling of a greater power.
And that's why some people go to church. Or I'm going to, you're welcome to come if you want, Sufi dancing this Saturday, where few people make their live music and go around and do dances from different spiritual traditions. Buddhist, Jewish, Christian, Hindu, primal, and we want to experience what is, we don't do it as well as what you were just reading, but we want to experience the divine, not just talk about it. And I get a little of that. I had that last time. Just, what we're talking about here, we don't want to just think this, but to experience it. And from your reading, I think I can do that.
Should I continue?
Yes. And maybe, and again, I agree with you. It's sometimes easy to doubt when you forget these things if you don't have them again and again.
Yeah, that's why I think it's important to journal or in whatever way is best for you, find something that will help you remember that.
Yeah, dancing, certainly the Sufi dancing helps me.
Over the course of time, moments of beauty such as this have been enough to inspire the leap of imagination, which asserts the actual presence of the divine.
Oh, she's saying what you did. Sometimes when she experiences beauty, she can feel that. Do we have any examples of our own experiencing beauty?
Well, I was speaking last week about how I felt that it rained so much this summer, but I felt that the rain was connected to my relationship with this woman that I
Oh, wow. Which is what's happening in this story, really. We haven't heard too much about it. But she's with this guy. I think, I'm sad to say, when I walk in my park in the morning and it's beautiful, I feel like it's the Garden of Eden. But I don't really let it take me over. I'm more like, oh, this feels like the garden, more matter of fact about it than, wow, this is, I hope after your reading I can be really let it in when I walk tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, you can note that, remember that when you wake up.
Or with, as you were saying, or with a woman.
Yeah.
I can observe, I have a friend, it's beautiful.
Yeah, being in that.
But I don't let it take me over. Like, wow, I am just in awe. I don't let that happen. But I might try now.
Yeah, being in a healthy relationship, a romantic relationship, I feel is profound understanding of the element of love.
And maybe I could do that without losing myself. I like to call it actively surrendering. I'm not just, okay, I'm lost, but I am diving into this beauty. So I'm still in touch with I and not just overwhelmed by.
If that's your goal, if that's something you'd like to do.
I would like to do that now that you've been reading this.
I like the idea of holding on to the I while also experiencing something maybe greater than what we found in oneself.
Yes, because
It's still maintaining oneself.
the word Israel means to wrestle with God. You don't just. Islam means to surrender to God. So there's a huge difference. And of course you can combine them, like you're saying, and we can actively surrender. God, here I come, I'm part of you, but I'm still with my eye.
Over the course of time, moments of beauty such as this have been enough to inspire the leap of imagination which asserts the actual presence of the divine.
Whoa.
People have staked their lives and the lives of others on such visions.
That's what's going on in the Middle East. Oh, wow.
The lives of others.
No, they're murdering each other.
So that relates back to when I was saying, overcommitment, and dedicating too much, you're so dedicated to your profound, like someone might be, a leader of an army, might be so dedicated to their profound vision that they think that other people must do what they say
Yeah.
because they have the profound,
Yeah.
profound vision. When those other people may have had that
In their own way.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're hoping for Israel and Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
2 rights can make a right, or 2 wrongs can make a right.
Such a moment could have allowed Noah to assume the rainbow he saw was a covenant between him and imminent God. It is so simple and so difficult to believe. I vowed to myself to try to remember that. In this moment, I really did believe.
Wow, do you get the reference to Noah?
Yes. The ark and bringing all the animals, 2 of every animal.
And when he sees the rainbow,
Message from God.
he imagines God is saying, I'm not going to do this ever again.
Oh.
No more floods. And she's trying to understand why he felt that. Because it was so beautiful. It seemed, in spite of all the horror of the flood, there was so much beauty that we're not going to endure this horror again. Which happened in South Africa and Ireland. And I pray and hope it will happen in Israel and Palestine.
Same here. We'd come to the rim at the very edge of time.
Gee, what does that mean, John?
I know. Maybe she felt so profound that it was beyond time.
Nothing, right, sometimes you have such a overwhelming time that you're not aware of time.
Yeah, could be.
I don't think I've ever had these, but maybe.
I don't think I have either. At least I hadn't realized it in the middle of the time. Tired as we were, if we'd come even an hour earlier, even a half hour earlier, we would not have stayed long enough to see the sky explode.
Wow! So there's some, it feels like there's some energy moving her to have this experience at the right time and the right place.
Yeah, that relates me to another band that I was very interested in. That's a completely different type of music. It's post-rock. And they're called Explosions in the Sky. And they have sort of simple duets of guitars and drums that have very beautiful sound to them. That sometimes, I love Annihilation of the Wicked, but it's just not that time. I'll have to go to Explosions of the Sky for that other emotion.
Oh my! And do they take you over?
Yeah, sometimes if I let it.
Yes.
If we'd come only a minute later, we would not have seen the unearthly light, because we were there at that precise second. I could not doubt that we had been led most carefully through a conjunction of simple events to a moment of vision that would have been impossible to imagine.
Wow, we're going to stop there. We only have a minute.
Okay.
Any experience of feeling led?
Led to
What's happened? I have one. I was walking in Cambridge over 40 years ago in Cambridgeport and visiting a home where someone was having a break fast after the fast. And I walked in, pretty out of it, with a bag of potatoes on my back, uncooked, and I said to the woman living there who I had not met, "This house looks so great, I'm going to live here sometime."